Weary web traveller, heed well this tale of misery and misfortune. Woe betide any who doubt the horrors of the vampire castle. A cursed fortress emerging from the nether realms, this fell bastion can appear in any land, at any time. The life essence of social justice and class solidarity are delivered unto its maw, and outflows bloodlust, recrimination, and spectacle. The vampire castle has taken root in the heart of all who dwell here. It drives the ascetic's mad desire to excommunicate, the pedant's rush to condemnation, and the youth's urge to banish wrongthink and be first among equals. Many of the left, in their quest to return light to the discourse, have essayed its obsidian battlements. But this only empowers darker magics still, as the vampire castle reflects and distorts these energies to cast a grand illusion that good faith critics are instead defaming the struggle against oppression. The castle brooks no debate nor dissension. There is only the burning conviction that it and it alone is the true-born standard bearer of social justice. None can shake free from the iron grip of the new god of this age, the invisible hand of market forces. It is perfidy and malice made manifest. A pall has fallen across a small, unnamed hamlet at the heart of Twitlandia. Farms lie fallow and barren as the small folk succumb to the call of the castle. Madness grips the land, and the townsfolk descend into orgies of bloodlust and ritual sacrifice to drive the sinners from their midst. And it is here that we meet one poor, unfortunate soul who finds herself ensnared deeper and deeper within the curse of the vampire castle.
Are you not pleased by the fare, young maiden?
Forgive me, my lord, but I fear my travails have made me weary.
You poor sweet child. Perhaps a cup of hot spice wine?
Oh no, I'm not one for strong drink.
Come, my dear, you look positively melancholy. Replenish your sanguine vitae. Drink! Excellent. Consume as much as you wish.
Are you not hungry, my lord?
I have other needs to satiate before I could eat even a bite of this kind of food.
What's that sound?
Don't fret, my pet, it's just thunder. It would seem that you have more pressing matters at hand anyhow. Please do tell me your woes, dear lady, how you came to my halls in such a wretched state. What troubles assailed you on the road?
I was attacked.
Attacked? What villain accosts a peasant in my land? Bandits? Vagabonds? Or perhaps even cut-purses?
No, my lord. It was Twitter leftists.
Ah, I see.
Your Grace, assailed as I was by the storm and crowd, I fled the highways and made out for your hilltop castle. I know these hallowed halls are the home of your lordship, the Viscount of social justice, and I thought that I may find shelter at your hearth and a sympathetic ear.
Then you have come to the right place, my dear. I hope you don't mind me asking, but what was young blood such as yourself doing out without a chaperone on a night such as this?
I did have someone with me, your Grace. Peter Van Coffin.
Van Coffin! That accursed name of that vile base-born wretch sends shivers through me. No wonder you were attacked. A sweet lady such as yourself should know better than to keep such company.
My lord!
He is a figure of the vilest contempt, a person of ill manners, what keeps the company of villains. Associating with such dreck makes you guilty too.
Guilty of what?
You're guilty of sin! Now, this is your first offense, and I am lenient, so you may be forgiven, but I advise you strongly to keep better company.
Forgive me, my lord, but the only sin is what's been happening beyond your keep. The folk of this town are turning against one another. In fits of rage and bloodlust, I was in my own village, and I was accosted and accused of the most unspeakable things. The folk of Twitlandia threatened to kill us, there in the public square, without even a trial, my lord. I don't know what's gotten into them, but it seemed inhuman. My lord, I've seen others too, torn apart by frenzied crowds. I was lucky enough to get away with my life.
This, my dear, is the work of the invisible hand of the market. A force unseen, one that thrives when men feed upon each other.
Invisible hand? What could that possibly mean?
Why do peasants toil in the fields? Why do merchants peddle their wares? Why would anyone tweet?
But what of the villagers?
They live. Do they not?
Life is not well lived when such brutality passes between brethren. How monstrous!
You could call it monstrous, sure, but I know it to be a necessity. There is a reason this kingdom doesn't collapse upon itself, monstrous though it may seem. There too is a reason I live in this castle and you don't. You may not like that, but it suits us just fine. It's the natural order of things. Now please eat.
Your Grace, I fear I've over-availed myself of your hospitality. I must be on my way home.
If you go back to Hamlet, they will draw and quarter you, my dear sweet child. They do not know any better, and they are not conditioned to care. They would compete to be the one that tied you to the horses. They would burn down your shack if it met their ends. Forget about all that. You're safe now. Fed, dry, warm. A beautiful young maiden such as yourself should be well attended and not so eager to subject herself to the random cruelty of the filthy peasantry.
If you won't allow me to go, then I'll take my leave and be candid. I have a lot more in common with the filthy peasantry of Twitlandia than I do with someone like you. That's why the attack was so alarming and hurtful.
Oh, it hurt, did it? Let's hear more about that.
Well, I didn't join in their morbid carnival, and Sir Renfield called me out.
Ah, Renfield. Good lad. I may make him mayor at some point.
He called me out because I abstained. Many had already viewed me as suspicious, but after this, they all turned on me, my own friends. They said my abstinence was evidence of guilt.
You did abstain, though, and how selfish of you. Those people are hurting, and as they hurt, they have license to hurt others even more. A blight of sin has descended upon their lives and left them bereaved. But did you not also blight them when you abstained?
Your Grace, what could I have done?
You could have vindicated the wild hunt and given them catharsis. When the market chooses its victim, the sacrifice is made to the invisible hand, as it has always been. Who are you to abstain from the frenzy? Everyone must feed. Now, eat!
Why must I? What do we gain?
There have always been those with more, and always those with less. Don't you want to be one of those with more? Aren't you hungry?
I asked, what do we gain? It would be better if everybody in the land had what they needed. We need justice. We need equality. Not just catharsis.
Nonsense. The peasants never desired equality, so they must be given order, or they'll grab power. If it was about equality, then no one would aspire to be an influencer. So if power is what you desire in this world, you must feed.
But what about when things are genuinely wrong? What about when there's an actual violation? What about when genuine reparations are in order? Surely not everybody who's after justice wants power.
Of course not everyone who says they want justice is after blood, but the invisible hand guides their fervor into actions that create sacrifices for the market. That is the power of our religion. Capitalism! It consumes, recuperates, and commodifies. And in its image, we must consume, recuperate, and commodify as well. Winning the argument feels a whole lot like justice, but winning an argument is watery gruel, and they still eat. They will eat whatever slop the market pours into them. They will be content to let it fill the void in their bellies. The aching hole in the pit of their stomachs reminds peasants of what they lack in society. But it never fills the hole, does it? Winning the argument doesn't just carve a pound of flesh for the victor. It is a delicious temptation for the onlookers as well. An irresistible addiction. That's good representation. Each grilled rare pound of flesh will satiate the hunger when served with fava beans and a nice bottle of Chianti. Even those with the best intentions are obligated to expend their vital essences trying to feed if they ever want to have a voice. And every feeding only makes the market stronger.
Your Grace, you talk of the small focus if they are a resource.
Dear child, that's capitalism. Next time there's a frenzy, ensure you feed, ensure you regenerate your precious fluids. Asking questions and making complaints will only turn the eyes of those people like the Renfield boy towards you.
Forgive me, but I cannot in good conscience take part in this grotesquerie. The market may indeed be the source of vitriol, but the people who act on these impulses need to be made aware of what's going on. No more Renfields. No more finding sinners in every hovel. We have to stop this.
Yeah, I dare you to stop them. If you merely defame the market forces, people would act as though you spat in their open mouths. The denizens of Sinistriteria obey the market forces. They follow our dogma, and they recite the litanies sung in our churches, because the invisible hand is the only means of achieving social justice. You wouldn't want future Mayor Renfield to tell everyone that you hate minorities, do you?
Your Grace, what exactly are you implying here? Opposing the blight of the invisible hand has nothing to do with hating minorities. The market forces exploit and harm minorities.
Silence! Who are you to decide what harms and aids minorities? Don't you know these things are better left for experts like me to decide? I say what is wrong and right, and everyone in the town follows obediently. This includes you. Without the blessing of the market, you would never have the social capital necessary to prove your expertise. You'll never be allowed to have a valid opinion on these matters. You're not fed enough. You don't appear publicly correct and competent frequently enough. And being on the right side of these issues is imperative to accumulating enough power and respect to prove that you're right. Right now, your comportment suggests that you are wrong.
What side are you on exactly? You've put forward this gorgeous, decadent meal when the people in the township are starving and hacking each other to bits for just a simple taste of food. I didn't ask for it. You want my allegiance because you think I want your permission. But I don't.
How, pray tell, will you get justice without it? No, I will be gracious. The carnival is still going, so why don't you just go back down to town like a good little girl and feed? Are you not hungry? Feed! Feed or be damned!
I can't. I won't.
As you can see, I've had my eye on you for quite some time, girl. So many receipts. Transgressions really are countless.
Let he without sin cast the first stone. I am hale and hearty. I know what is right, and even if I've made mistakes, it doesn't obscure my desire to see the land restored to justice.
That's the thing about sin. It's not up to you what it is. It's up to me. My castle, my town, my land, my world. The peasants dance to my piper's tune, and if some simple wench refuses to join in, well, the dancers all know the steps. The performance is the deed, the tell. What you do inside your home, on your own time, isn't visible, but in town, you must dance to be one of the good ones. And if you do not dance, then you cannot feed.
There's a culture of fear and silence. The reason why I've been forced to deal with this whole situation as it's played out is because of that. Because of the fact that we're being harassed and coerced to cancel somebody without knowing the full extent of the situation and what has gone on. That is why I have been doxxed. That is why I have been harassed. That is the reason that those people are doing that isn't just for fun. It's because they are trying to coerce us into forcefully acting out in a punitive way against somebody in a situation where we don't have the full knowledge of what's going on. I don't know why this has now become my responsibility to vindicate someone or punish someone.
It's our job because we made it our job.
I can't be a member of a community where saying I don't know gets you dox threats, gets you hacked.
How's that working out for you so far, Angie? At a certain point, if you feel you haven't been heard, you get fucking angry. And if you get fucking angry, some bad things can happen.
And we've been dealing with it silently, anxious, which is what people don't fucking understand. When we foster this culture of fear and bullying and silence, this is what happens. This is the result of that.
What you're doing is deflecting.
Make it stop. Please, Your Grace. I want to forget. Just please make it stop.
So, you've been going around telling people the blight comes from this castle, my castle. You've been trying to tell people about me, revealing the presence of the invisible hand. Singing your own song about clout, social capital, how everything from factories making our phones to using them to send our opinions to others is someone's business, someone's profit, someone's meal. You've talked about how markets have infected people's very blood.
But none of those are sins. I'm only saying what's obvious. The market is the plague that's starving us all.
Well, I crave the market. I can't live without it. I need it. I don't want to, but I would die if I didn't eat.
But my lord, your plate is so full.
Poor child. Do you not realize? You are the meal.